Rotation afterwards, definitely,
Yeah.
100%.
Oh,
I'll give you all
definitely.
the backup.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I think it's just very ideal that it's out there.
Yeah.
You know, I've just been having a long think. Like at the moment, my recovery is where I'm at my recovery at the moment.
Yeah.
So I do secretary in my Portlaoise NA.
Yeah.
I open the rooms every Monday night. There's also NA on a Saturday night here. 2 meetings a week.
Yeah.
It's not enough for anybody who's coming into early recovery.
Yeah.
When I say early recovery, I'm 29 months clean and sober, and
Yeah.
I'm still in early recovery.
Yeah.
I do say, I hear someone say in the rooms there last week, early recovery is for the first 10 years. You know, and then you're out of early recovery.
Yeah, like,
You know,
there's no really time frame on it, really.
There's never a time frame
Yeah,
on it, you know.
yeah.
And another person asked me there last week, and I heard a young lad saying the one thing was, how long are you clean and sober now, Tara? Me, I'm clean and sober at 6 o'clock this morning.
Yeah.
Because I woke up at 6 o'clock this morning.
Yeah, it is. It can be very this thing of people look at time and date that are not involved in it. It's like, you know, like how many days, how many time, how many minutes. You know, every day, every minute, every day you take adds a new day.
Definitely.
And if people don't understand that, oh, you've so like 2 years, 2 days, and 10 minutes. No, that's not how it works.
No, it's not. No, that is great to get out there.
Yeah.
That it's for like me. I have a recovery TikTok, and that's all it's on my TikTok is a recovery TikTok, and I will post 2 years, so many weeks, so many days. Yeah. But that's for somebody that's only starting out.
Yeah.
And know that it is possible to get there.
Yeah. And how was Christmas? Because Christmas can be for everybody. I don't care who they are.
Yeah.
It can be overindulged of everything. It can be emotional. It can be. Yeah.
Christmas for us was very quiet. As everyone knows, and I'll highlight it as well. My partner is also in recovery now at the moment. He'll be a year sober next month. And Christmas for us was a lot of peace. Yeah. A lot of peace. Temptations for me, no. I've had no temptations, but then it's so highlighted because people always is keeping that eye on you around Christmas, New Year's,
celebration time.
Yes, it's actually what I discovered myself, and this year alone is my third clean sober Christmas. January is an awful month for people. Yeah, you know, because they're after being watched so much over Christmas. Yeah, and they're not. The kind of fall. It's not even fall back. It's
like and like what you find now, and even like Christmas can be an overload of emotions.
Definitely.
You have families coming together that maybe have been together in years.
Yeah.
Families are like anything else. You can pick your friends. You're stuck with your family.
Yes,
right?
Exactly.
And suddenly at January, it's emotions that have been built up that I should have said this to them, and I shouldn't. You know, and then suddenly January is like. So you're forced into everything at Christmas.
Definitely.
To be happy, yay, it's Christmas, joy and forgiveness and everything.
Oh yeah, definitely. Now this year really we went to my mother and father's for dinner, and then like we do every year. And then I went to his parents. Drink wasn't an issue for me. No. My partner, he kind of is not ready to be around it. And I understand that. So I've kind of learned him how to deal with that in a way of escape. And what I mean by escape is what was taught to me when I came home from recovery is if you decide to go out, or if you have your mother's 60th birthday party or your friend's 21st or your friend's 30th or 40th, have an escape plan. Yeah. You know, have an escape plan before you reach there. Yeah. And it's always great to follow your escape plan.
Yeah, because it's like, and I would find even like say if you don't drink or wherever you're in, is that you would have remembered, parties here, the good time, even though it's not good times, it's covered up any problem you have.
Definitely.
And then when you're here, people, we're heading down to the pub now. We had a great night last night. You missed it. And then suddenly you're like, you're being punished because you just can't be in that area.
Yeah. But if I kind of had that in my life, that's negativity for me. Like, and I do have negativity in my life. Recovery is not all glory. Yeah. It's far from glory, you know. But, people like that I don't like around me. Yeah. You know, like if somebody is going to, if somebody is going to sit down and say, I drank so many bottles last night, you missed a great night. It's obviously not a great night when you're meant to be my friend and you're saying that in front of me. Yeah. And you know I'm in recovery. Yeah. You know, so I kind of don't have people like that in our lives. As we are at the minute, I do maybe 3-4 meetings I try and get in a week. I work 5 days. I do a lot of voluntary work. And then it's meetings. And then at the moment, I'm actually tomorrow at 12:20, I talk in a school, in a secondary school.
Oh, great.
It's great. And I got a phone call to see what I do with it, and I was like, yeah, no problem. So my 17-year-old daughter she came on a live with me last night, and she spoke about how her addiction affected her, how my addiction affected her, and how her father's addiction affected her. And it was phenomenal. You know, when she went to school then today and she put together this thing like for me for tomorrow, her and her friend.
Yeah.
And it was phenomenal. She video called me there when I was in work, and she showed me some of the things that she's after putting together for tomorrow.
Wow.
And it's absolutely amazing. It really, really is like an introduction, and where like the inner child when I was a baby, then it came to light where I was a teenager, and then where Drinking Jugs came in, where it brought me, and where recovery has me now.
Yeah, because it's what I think what I was delayed out, because we didn't, if anybody asked, we didn't get a chance. We're so busy over the last few weeks, because unfortunately life goes in one way, and then everybody's on different times, and we're so anxious to get back and to do it, especially with Christmas and January. Even for people who don't have addiction problems, it can be very depressing time.
Definitely.
And with deaths and families, there's so many issues that goes on there, and unfortunately that can lead to, maybe if I had a few drinks, maybe if I've done something, it might make me feel better.
Definitely.
And then suddenly they're in addiction through circumstance. So that's what I'm saying. It was. Did you find that if you have a week and you're quiet, that people ring and say, "Are you all right?"
Yeah, right. So what happens with me is I'm up 6 o'clock every morning.
Yeah.
And I would video call one or two of my sisters at a certain time. I'd ring my father. If it goes past that time, they'll be ringing me to make sure I'm all right.
Yeah.
You know, and if they haven't heard from me in a few hours or a few days, but I find that that's great.
Yeah.
For me, it's great because they're still reassured, like I'm reassuring them I am okay, but they're still that bit worried.
Yeah.
And it's good to be worried.
Yeah, it is. And I think it can be, look, it's good. I always say it's good to be loved.
Definitely.
Because they're like, I just check. And it's they're more anxious. You know you're fine yourself, anyway. But they're just more anxious. And
of course.
Yeah, and it can be a worry for people, especially like, as you said, every morning you wake up, it's a fresh day.
Oh yeah, it's definitely. It is. Yeah. And I'll always say it, like, I wake up fighting the battle of addiction. I go to bed fighting the battle of addiction. I'll tell you what I kind of wanted to speak about in this podcast as well, pride.
Yeah.
And when I say pride, and what I mean about pride is killing a lot of people today.
Yeah.
Because there's families that want to get into treatment, but they're just too proud. They're pride. And I'll tell you, it's going to kill them.
Yeah.
It really, really is going to kill them, because I see people suffering with addiction. They actually don't know they're in addiction, but they're actually in the depths of addiction.
Yeah.
And everybody's suffering around them. But it's the pride.
Yeah.
You know, it's what people, the judgment.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, 100%. It's like, it still go back to I always say, it's dark secret, hidden secret, family secret. Definitely. Just keep it in family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Put it under the carpet, you know.
Put it under the carpet. Yeah. And what's ironic, you probably, is that if you look through the family's histories, probably you could name uncles and aunties that had addiction.
Definitely.
And probably, then they died young, or they died suddenly. That's we hear the word. Yeah. And could be all drink, drugs related, wherever they're into.
Yeah,
and suddenly they took their own life, whatever it is, but it was never dealt with. And pride is, as I said, exactly, yeah.
Yeah, and it's still today, it's 2025, you know, and in my opinion, and anybody that's struggling out there, and anybody that is going to listen to this, is reach out. You know, and my daughter brought across a great message last night on our live video was, if anybody is struggling on this, that's on the live, or anybody has a member, family, or a child of around any of my kids' ages, text my daughter. You know, where I thought that was phenomenal, because she is after being through so much. My 3 kids are after being through an awful lot, you know, especially with our addiction, because we would have stood on our kids to get drugs or drink, you know, and that's where it led us. It came to a stage where I couldn't afford to feed my kids.
Yeah.
And that's where family stood in.
Yeah.
You know, they didn't go into social services or anything like that because of family support.
Yeah.
You know, and I'll always be grateful for that family support, from my family and also Michael's family. You know, they were phenomenal. I'll never be able to thank them enough, like, for my kids not going into care. But then you have, like, as I said about my 17-year-old daughter, she was practically the mammy to my other 2 kids, you know, because she hit them from an awful lot as well.
Oh, yeah.
And I actually didn't realise that until only maybe a year ago.
Yeah.
You know, when we actually sat down and had the conversation of, she told me exactly what she's seen and what we were doing, you know, and that hurt.
Yeah.
but it was something that I needed to hear.
Oh yeah, and it is again. Even probably would have known saying is that you'll have people maybe talking about being at a wedding 4 years ago, and I could say, "Was I at that? Yeah, you remember you're up singing?" And I'm, don't really remember that.
That's me lately.
Yeah.
That is so me lately.
Yeah.
Right? People are saying, "Do you remember Tara? We were at this," and I'm like, "Yeah," and they're like, "No, you don't," which I actually don't.
No, yeah.
Which I actually don't. Like, I was asked a question on the live there 2 nights ago that no, I wasn't asked the question. It was actually brought up about mental health. And I will always answer this. Always answer it honestly. I actually don't know if I suffered with mental health.
Yeah.
Because I was that over on drink or drugs. Do you know what I mean? I actually really, really don't know. Really don't know if I suffered with mental health.
Yeah, and I'd say I would have went for an operation there recently, and it was up put on hold there years ago because my bloods were so bad that they said, we're not going to risk it. You could die on the table. And there is a lot of people who have addiction that could have a general, apart from mental health, could have physical health, and they're using the drinks and drugs end up numbing every symptom that you have, whether it could be cancer or anything else, because it just numbs everything.
Of course it does.
And so you never know what is going on in your body.
It numbs an awful lot, and it hides an awful lot.
Yeah.
It hides the unbearable pain. But when it's hiding that unbearable pain that you don't want to feel or you don't want to go through anymore, you don't want to bring up, it brings you to the darkest place of your life.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It really, really, really does. Where addiction brought me, it brought me to hell and back. And when people say hell, I mean hell and back.
Yeah.
I probably would have sold a kidney.
Yeah.
That's
well, it is, and I think you're 100% right, and I think it's in the Irish stigma is that we still have this pride thing. Oh no.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm a recovering addict, or I was an addict. I'm an addict. I'm selling. It's like, Jesus, that's terrible. Oh, don't talk. It's like it's a worst sin.
Definitely. Yeah.
You could be a corrupt politician or a banker.
Yes. It's all wiped out under the table, and it's just, it's like, it's not even that. I even see people in their 30s, 40s, late 20s, and most of them know they have a problem.
Yeah.
But it's not a problem.
No.
It's not a problem.
Yeah.
But it's kind of a thing where treatment centres are coming in. Some treatment centres you have got to be clean going into.
Yeah.
Don't agree with her.
No.
Because if you can get clean on the outside, you can do it on the outside.
Yeah.
The treatment centre that I went into in Limerick and Coolmere and Limerick and Bury, I wasn't clean going in there. No. I wasn't, and they took me.
Yeah.
They took me. I went in there on my knees. I completed my full program, 12-week program, and I also come out on my knees, full to the neck of gratitude for that place.
Yeah.
It's not highlighted enough. The counsellors don't get paid enough down there.
Yeah.
And the best thing about the one that I went down to in Limerick, and I'm sure most of them are the same, most of the counsellors have been through the addiction.
Oh, yeah.
I don't pick me up wrong. It's not that I don't like sitting down with anybody. Right, for instance, I had a counsellor. This counsellor, my first counsellor, had never been through addiction. We didn't get on. We didn't relate with anything. I actually have a counsellor now at the moment, and as I always say, she walked the shoes of an addict.
Yeah.
One addict to another, and she walked the shoes of an addict, and she came out and she got her counselling, whatever. She went to college, but she knows exactly what I'm going through.
Oh yeah.
And what I'm going to go through.
And it's like anything else. If you can all study to be on paper to be a nurse, but when you go into the hospital, that's when you real life. And if somebody has been and knows exactly what addiction is, then they can actually a lot more empathy, a lot more understanding of it is what you're going through. And because it's for me, addiction is, I'm lucky enough that I can sort of face my demons.
Yeah.
I don't hide from them. I don't say I'm doing very well today. I know that, okay, I'm really having a bad day. This could be a day that something could trigger me.
Yes, exactly.
Something could really trigger.
And that's the big thing is triggers.
Yeah.
Triggers for a lot of people. I'm kind of comfortable at the moment in my recovery that I don't want to use drugs or I don't want to drink anymore.
Yeah.
And that's for today. That's the way I feel about it today, and that's the way I felt about it maybe for the past 6 months. I don't, because I'm after doing that much work on my recovery.
Yeah.
I don't want to drink today.
Yeah.
Don't want to use drugs today. I don't get the urges anymore.
Yeah.
But the message that needs to be put out there that there is help out there,
Yeah.
And by the time I'm finished, it might take me 6 months, it might take me a year. I am trying my best to get a day program up and running in the Laois area, to try and get a drop-in centre.
Yeah.
You know, it's about being put in the right direction,
Yeah.
and hopefully I'll know more about that next week.
Yeah, and I think I agree with you fully. Is that there should be a centre that is just, it's, you don't have to be fully off it,
No.
but you're getting a little step.
Exactly, drop-in centre.
Non-judgmental.
Exactly.
We're not saying, oh, God, you're doing great for a week there, but
And what happened to blah 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 blah.
I mean, I know
blah.
people who could be years and then suddenly, and people say, after 4 years, 5 years, how?
Yeah.
Because it doesn't stop.
It just
it's not.
takes that. No, it never stops, and it will never stop.
Yeah, it's not a book that's the end chapter.
No. We'll never close a book. We'll never close. I opened the book 29 months ago, and unfortunately, until the day I take my last breath, that book will be closed.
Yeah.
And that's the way I go about it. Another thing is, like, as I was saying there, like about Coolmere, it's phenomenal. There's 4 Coolmeres, or maybe 5. I'm not too sure. It's those 2 ladies, Sister Agnes and Sister Concilio. They really, really, really do not get enough.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, there's hundreds of thousands of people's lives that they're after saving.
Yeah.
You know, there's hundreds of thousands of families that they're after putting back together.
Unsung heroes, as you want to say. Yeah.
You know, and it's just phenomenal. It really, really is phenomenal. But I'm not going to stop.
No, I think it can be done. This thing is that if you have the people with the right enthusiasm and they really know exactly what they want to do, we can have all the papers and that's my certificate.
Yeah.
But unless something's going to be done with unless you're going to do it, and even if it's only a drop-in centre just for have a cup of tea with somebody,
definitely,
and that could keep them sober that day.
Exactly, just for that day.
Yeah, that day.
You know, and it's a lot of. I'm going to start getting onto TDs. I'm getting onto counsellors. You know, I do need people involved in it. Obviously, like psychotherapists, I need counsellors involved.
Yeah.
But I am going to start getting onto our local TDs and start to do something about it. You know what I mean? Because it's people's dying.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people are dying.
Yeah.
A lot of people's families' homes are broken. A lot of kids are suffering in silence.
Yeah.
You know, and my kids were those kids suffering in silence.
Yeah.
You know, my 3 kids suffered in silence.
And I remember I was listening to one of your lighting was last night for that, and I had to go up because it was and I think it was one of the people on the line was saying that he was diagnosed with ADHD. ADHD, my wife is convinced I have it. ADHD is very linked to addiction.
Oh, definitely, it comes hand in hand.
Yeah, you know, you can be some of the best. Einstein had ADHD, so you either put it into mad science, if you want to call it, or their addiction will go somewhere else.
Definitely, and it does, and I have to 100% agree with you there. ADHD and addiction, and also mental health comes hand in hand with addiction.
Yeah.
You know?
And that's the saying. I remember saying that in the last thing that some people get addicted to running marathons. They probably are on the same. They could be very easily switched.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
It's as easy as, and my own self in recovery has picked up Red Bull. It's as easy as Red Bull. It's as easy as Lucozade.
Yeah. I don't know, we're talking, man, and this is something I've seen as well, is that the amount of people who are addicted now to prescription medicine, codeine.
Oh, yes, definitely.
And the doctors are not dealing with it. They just keep on. And some of them were taking, there was a doctor who literally said that this is a walking time bomb. He said some of them were taking 40 a day. Like the amount of damage on the livers, kidney, but it's not talked about because it's pharmaceutical.
And that's exactly what it is, you know. And I would have been one of those that would have took those 40 tablets a day.
Yeah.
I remember getting the phone call about my bed and treatment, and they gave me the date. And that morning I woke up, said goodbye to the kids, blah blah blah. They were still half asleep. And on the road from Portlaoise to Limerick, I took 73 between mostly all prescription tablets. That I would have bought off somebody, or that was prescribed to them, or that I went into a chemist and bought.
Yeah.
You know, I would have, and I took every one of them before I got to the
And the packet looked completely okay.
Oh, I thought it was beautiful. Yeah. I thought it was gorgeous. No, but as I spoke about a while ago, I went into treatment on my knee.
Yeah.
You know, and believe me, I went into treatment on my knees.
Yeah.
And and as I'll always speak about, I came out on my knees, and when people hear that, they're like, she went in on your knees, she done a 12-week program, but I came out on my knees full to the neck of gratitude.
Yeah.
Because I was after finding out who I really was.
Yeah.
And this comes back to where I said it a short while ago as well about a day program. When I came home from Limerick offered me aftercare once a week, which I was very grateful for. for the first 2 years. And then he also got me meetings. But there's nothing else for me.
Yeah.
I live in Portlaoise. There was nothing else for me.
Yeah.
There was no
support
daycare
nurse, no
centre.
nothing.
No. The Family Resource Centre here in Portlaoise, where I work, or where I live, and where I also do a bit of voluntary work, was phenomenal to me.
Yeah.
They offered me all supports available, like my counselling and things like that. But there's no program. There's no program around here for anybody to work a program. There is no drop-in centre for anybody to drop in that's actually suffering. Just as you spoke about a moment ago, that you can have a cup of tea and a chat that might stay somebody, that might keep somebody sober in that day.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what my next fight is for, and I'm going to fight it, and I'm hoping, if I fight as hard as that as I have fought to keep my recovery for today, I will get it.
And I said, it's nothing stopping it, because I always say, I look at every town, or there's like, if you go to every church, there's a free hall there, there's a free room, and there's a free, and all say, can you give us that room?
Yes, exactly. It's
That's
about working, and it's about putting time and effort into it. And that's one thing that I've learned a lot about, because I put time and effort into my recovery every day. And if I can just keep that one person sober for just that day, you know, along beside me.
I do not feel that they're completely, as I said to you, when you go from, say, like, so if Limerick come up, you're wrapped in cotton wool.
But geez, when you're down in the treatment centre, you're so safe.
You're there out in the cold in some ways.
Yes.
Yeah. Now you'll be fine. How am I going? That's it. You know, you can see us once every month, or you can go to your next. How about tomorrow? How about the following day?
Yeah, exactly. And it was like when I came home on the 9th of December 2022. And when I came up that road from Limerick, like when I was driving up that road from Limerick with my partner and his father, I was in, as you spoke about, that pink cloud. I was like, I'm fixed, you know, I was the problem. I went and sorted that problem, and my family's perfect.
Yeah.
But little did I know, my partner was a chronic alcoholic. He was playing catch up while I was in Limerick.
Yeah.
My kids were broken.
Yeah.
I was coming home to a very broken home.
Yeah.
A very, very broken home that we set back. And also, while I was trying to get my kids well, we set back, both me and my 3 kids set back and watched their father slowly kill himself every day, day by day, you know, and then with the grace of God, he's a year sober next month.
Yeah, and I would have, I've talked to people who are friends of mine, and they've had basically hard childhoods. Like, you know, like I always said to you, to be a mother and father, it's, I always say, anybody can have a child.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
It takes a parent to be.
Definitely.
And so, I know a lot of them have ended up looking to something that, when they're going such a low, as that they end up either turning to drink, drugs, and it's not because they've never dealt. And the pride, there could be dark secret in the family. Maybe their father wasn't good for them, and the mother, and not, they're fighting with siblings, and then suddenly it's this thing is that I need something to turn to.
Definitely, yeah.
And alcohol, drink, drugs, whatever you're doing, and that'll be your friend.
Yeah, definitely.
And I said to you, it's not a friend.
No, definitely not a friend. It's definitely not a friend. I loved it. When I done it, I loved it.
Yeah.
It brought me to places where it took me out of everywhere.
Yeah.
It took me out of myself. It took me out of where I wanted to be.
Yeah.
You know, and I thought I had the right, I had 3 kids at the age of 21. You know, and I thought then I had the right to go out and enjoy my life.
Yeah. But
I didn't enjoy my life. Yeah. I fell into drinking drugs then when my 3rd child was born, when my son was born. And as I spoke about earlier in our chats, that it brought me to my knees. It brought me further, like it brought me to try to commit suicide. It brought me to places where I just wanted to die.
Yeah.
I really, really did. I just wanted to die. And it brought me like to where, as I said, I thought I had the right to do this because I gave birth to 3 kids. You know, that's my thing done for society.
Yeah.
And that's the way I felt.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you can always justify with yourself when you're in that. You can justify, well, I've done this, you know, and you'll always say, well, everybody else had an easy time. I didn't have an easy time. And you can always look for that. I didn't have a great mother, I didn't have a great father. But, you know, in the end, that doesn't stop your addiction.
It doesn't, no, definitely. And as my daughter said to me last night, my 17-year-old daughter, you can bring a Hearst of water, but you can't make them drink it.
Yeah.
You know, you can blame a lot of people for your addiction.
Yeah.
But what I learned about me, when I found the real me, and when I found out who I really was, I was the problem for my addiction.
Yeah.
Nobody else.
No.
Not my mother, not my father, not my brother, not any of my sisters, not my kids, and not my partner. It was me.
Yeah.
You know, it was me and down to me.
Oh yeah, because it is. We can all have a.
Blame
We
game.
can all have a shit day
Oh,
and
yeah.
saying, "Oh well, because the boss was out to me today, so I had to go out and get a few drinks. I had to go and take a few tabs. I had to do that
Yeah.
because of the boss."
Yeah, definitely.
But that's not. That's only basically you're just find your demon in the end.
Definitely, yeah.
And so it's realizing that we'll all have demons. We'll all have bad days. Is that trying to make sure that your friend at the time is not your friend.
Yeah.
He is going to be your worst friend that is going to just bring you down to darker hole, and that doesn't care what he does to you.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I think is that talking and having pride in families is why there could be so much going on in the families and that we don't talk about that. But this is why it's so important to have centres where you can go down and talk to people.
Definitely. And that's my aim this year.
Yeah.
This year is my aim to get a drop-in centre opened and to have the facilities for the programme for people that doesn't work, that is in recovery, that doesn't work. What I have to do? Because I'll tell you why it's bothering me so much, because boredom for me is a disease of its own.
Oh yeah.
You know, you'd use on boredomness.
Oh yeah, you can. It's like, and I think nowadays there's so much pressure on us between multimedia and everything else. Is that we don't know how to, like we were saying, switch off.
Yes, exactly.
And we're like on edge all the time.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And it's like, oh, I need to get a drink. I need to get this because and boredom. We don't know how to be. We don't know how to be, like, as in maybe 60, 70 years ago, you could just go down the field, go for a walk. Nowadays, there's knives everywhere.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And I think that's why we're going to have a lot more. I think a lot more addictions are going to be hidden in closed doors.
Yeah.
As you see that when you go to shops, you see them out to drink.
Yeah, definitely.
Christmas time, you couldn't. They'd be piling on top of.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And that's another thing about drink. Like, when people go to treatment for drugs, like they think it's okay to come home and drink. Drink is a drug.
Yeah.
You know, and drink for me is the biggest target. As you said, shops and things. It has been said to me lately, Tara, you're going on into your third year. Would you not have one? And that actually cracks me up. It actually makes me laugh.
Yeah.
And they'll say, like, what do you find so funny about it? I said, I'll tell you what I find so funny about it. If I have the one drink, I go for a bag of cocaine and then I go for a tray of tablets. So that one drink has spiraled me back straight to the bottom into the pit of addiction.
Yeah.
You know, and that's
it's like your little demon friend outside the window saying, "Hi, I knew you come back.
Yes, exactly.
I knew you come back,"
Yes,
and laughing at you. So
definitely.
yeah, and and I do hate is when they say is that surely one wouldn't.
Exactly. And that's okay, right? I could have one for today, okay? The next week I'll have maybe two. So I was fine last week and one. The third week then you're going to say, should I go to the pub, you know? And there's someone there that's snorting cocaine. So I'll have one. I was able to have one drink, I was fine.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the next thing you're on a high, you need something to come down.
Yeah.
You know, and then you're just back. It's a vicious circle.
And you know, I can sort of spot people who I know who have hidden addictions because they'll say, well, you know, I drink good, but I can handle it. I'm like,
or I'm a functional.
why are you talking about this if you think you're questioning yourself in some ways? And I'm like, they're obviously they're in their own head, are saying they probably question themselves, are you drinking too much? And so they're thinking, oh, I'm not, like, I didn't have to go for this, or I didn't have to do this. But that doesn't mean you're not an addict.
Exactly, or an alcoholic. Yeah, it is. And as we spoke about the drink, like, drink is it's not highlighted enough how dangerous it is, because when you're buying it from a store, let it be an off license or let it be anywhere where you're buying it from, it actually tells you what's in it. It tells you what percent it is, but it actually doesn't tell you what damage it does to your insides. No. It doesn't tell you what damage it does to the family home.
No.
You know, it doesn't. It really, really doesn't.
Yeah, they don't treat drink the way they treat fags that have photographs of liver, your lungs, everything.
So why not put that on a bottle of Bulmers or a large bottle of vodka?
Yeah, the shock effect. And unfortunately, it's to do with taxation, it's still meds, you know what I mean? And it's the same as prescription drugs. Like, that is really, and I've seen that over the last 2 years, is because I've been in, if I was doing, say, installation work in certain houses, I would go into certain houses, and I'd be, you know, the first thing people always say is, oh, don't mind the mess. And I don't mind the mess. But I've come in some houses and I would see maybe a stash of boxes of sulfatines. Yes. And I wouldn't say anything, but I'm like, why are they there? And obviously they could be getting these in prescription, piling them up, and piling them up, and piling them up, and therefore you suddenly have a huge dash of, I mean, codeine, like sulfidine.
Oh, definitely. Codeine is, but then again, I would have took a lot of codeine.
Yeah.
So now I would have took codeine during the day. If I didn't have any alcohol, I'd take codeine. Codeine would have made me function.
Yeah.
And then I would have taken the sleepers to come down to sleep.